I mean, should I state the obvious? Obviously, it was the play of Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game where we're not going to overreact to one game because it is the first game of the season. You're still getting your legs under yourself. But we all know the stuff that Denver's been talking. Who's your daddy, these things. So you know this game means something. This is the defending champs, and you're not up for game one against the defending champs who swept you a year ago, then I don't know what to tell you. This just goes to show me that the motivation, and everything we want AD to be is just not there. We want him to be Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yep.
But we don't see it. And this is going to be an AD we're going to see all year long, who's going to be up and down. He's going to woe you with his numbers one night, have 30 and 11, then come back the next night, because there's no possible way a guy with his ability should come out and have 0 points. And then the one thing that bothered me was in the second half.
Right.
0 points in the second. And the one thing that bothered me, he only had 1 rebound at halftime. Now, you can control that. Now, maybe it was something the Lakers were doing as a team and not force-feeding him the ball as much as they should. But with his ability, he should be able to get to the... Keyshawn, you said you could get to the line at least 4 or 5 times, and he wasn't able to do that in the second half.
I haven't played basketball in 100 years, Paul. Come on now. He can't get to the line. He's 8 feet tall. All you got to do, as you know, is being aggressive. Just go to the line and be aggressive. It's not that difficult. It's not that hard. And look, I'm never going to argue or disagree with somebody that is a Hall of Famer like yourself that has played in the NBA and championships and all those sort of things. And I understand what you're saying. It's one game, don't panic. Very true. One game, don't panic. They got a lot more to go.
Right.
But if you start off like you ended, it only makes somebody like myself, who is a fan of the Lakers, look at it and go, come on, man, seriously? You go 0 for 6 on field goal attempts.
In the second half.
In the second half, you 0 free throws. You just mentioned that, Paul, right? 0. So that tells me you aren't trying to get to the cup. Like, you're just not. We are not asking you to stay on the perimeter and shoot threes. We want you to do something, be a force. We just gave you $186 million. And look, this is not pile on AD day. That's not what this is about. We're just trying to bring some insight to what we saw last night. Now you look at it, you say, okay, when he's on the floor, the Lakers without LeBron James is minus 19. This shouldn't be the case. You know that, Paul. This shouldn't be the case. Now, everybody says, well, LeBron should do this, LeBron should do that. LeBron only played 29 minutes. Okay, maybe they go up, 33, maybe overtime.
He shouldn't have to do that. AD supposed to have the key.
Exactly, but based on last night, we look at 29 minutes. We look at him in the +7 category. 0 turnovers. Turnovers are big. He didn't have any. And LeBron typically will have multiple turnovers in a game, but he had 0. He played 29. He gave you 21 points. What more you want this man to do at 39 years old? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. And you know, when you look at it, you also got to tip your hat off to Denver. You know, Denver, what do they have? 30 assists on 48 field goals. That's big. That means that they are hitting buckets when you're assisting the ball to them. So I look at it and say, okay, it's one game. Now I can look to tomorrow maybe for Phoenix and say maybe we have some sort of silver lining. We get to 1-1. We're at home opening night. Maybe that energy kicks in.
So here's what tore me up about last night. We did a topic a couple of weeks back because Anthony Davis had spoken out against the Nuggets, speaking out, as Paul mentioned, against the Lakers through the offseason. It was actually Michael Malone who was taking shots at the Lakers because at the victory parade, as I mentioned, he did say, we're the Lakers' daddy. But more than that, he went on the McAfee show and made a big joke about LeBron dropping the little retirement bombshell right after they had swept the Lakers that night. LeBron said, well, I'm not sure I'm going to come back, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he was just trying to take the focus off what had happened. But the point was then Michael Malone goes on the McAfee show. Let me just read you the quote here. He says, speaking of the Lakers, I just want you guys to know this is breaking news. I'm thinking about retiring, so don't tell anybody. Well, that's just a clear shot at LeBron. So AD said just a couple of weeks back, this is very motivational. He says, me and Bron, we've had some conversations like we can't wait for opening night in Denver. So, ring ceremonies. This man sitting next to me knows ring ceremonies. That they are a double-edged sword. They can work both ways because they can inspire you. They can also distract and deflate you because they can drain you and you're not quite ready for tip-off because you're still living in the past of last year. So it could go either way. And I've seen a lot of really good teams fall flat on their faces after a ring ceremony on opening night at home. And what happens? Do AD and company come out and kick some ass, to start the game? No, they lose the first quarter 34-20, and AD goes through the whole first half and he gets one rebound. But to his credit, and the reason he mixes your emotions, he scored 17 in the first half. That's pretty good. That's good enough against Jokic. You say, well, you held your own. Okay, so then we get to the second half and you think, okay, you've climbed back slowly but surely in the game. You've cut it down to a single-digit deficit. Here we go. And here we didn't go because the damnedest thing happened. AD comes out like he doesn't even want to play in the second half. I've never seen anything like it before. You've gotten back. You got a shot. This is the team that knows you're not going to quit on them because you're going to take them right to the wire because that's what you did 4 straight times, albeit 4 straight losses in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know, but it took a little heart out of them because it's like, wait a second, your best player, I still think he's their best player. You did that early in the game?
Yeah, I don't like when he shoot the corner threes at all, Paul. I really don't. I like when he steps into them at the front of the basket where he can see, off the
his
dribble.
game is not really a catch-and-shoot game.
I hate when he shoots from the corner.
All right, so Paul, did you see a Nuggets team that's just devastating and dominating like last year? Did you see them start to even take it a notch up?
I saw a Joker remind them who the best player was in the NBA, no matter who's on the court. I saw that. We went into this offseason like, oh, Joker's watching horse races. He's over here partying and dancing. But clearly he's been in the gym, as we saw in Game 1. The way he just comes down and nonchalantly dominates the Lakers on the inside and outside. But look at him. He plays big. Anthony Davis needs to learn how to play his size. And when he learns how to do that on a consistent basis. Look, the Joker's offensive rebound. He's jump hooking you to death on the inside. Oh, you want to leave me open for 3? Oh, take that too. So I wasn't surprised what I seen from the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, guys like him, KCP, guys like, and of course, Jamal Murray. These guys are not having a championship hangover. They went out and showed the Lakers who their daddy was.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of KCP, Keyshawn's favorite player. He was a Laker, and Keyshawn texted me about this last night. He just kills the Lakers. He's still taking it out on the Lakers.
Like y'all used me to get LeBron over here.
That is correct.
Signed me, gave me the money to get LeBron, then shipped me off.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, he's just, he's a Laker killer for sure. Paul, you played in the NBA, and you just mentioned Anthony Davis and Joker, and he doesn't play big like Joker. Why is that, though? Because if you ask me that question about football, somebody my size at the receiver position, if you were to ask me how come he doesn't play as aggressive as a big receiver, I could give you that answer. I don't know what the answer is to Anthony Davis is playing small when you got a guy like Joker that you see out on the court who's a big, dominating. How come he can't just figure out that he's bigger than everybody else and he needs to dominate?
Well,
why?
It has to be a consistent mentality. I mean, he has it some nights. When you look at his numbers, some nights he does. But then it has to be consistent. He has to want to do it every single night. And I'm just not sure, mentality-wise, he has that. We've seen that with Kevin Garnett. We've seen that with Antetokounmpo. We see it with Joel Embiid. And we see it right here with the Joker. Anthony Davis is on the same level ability-wise with all the guys that I named. But as far as a mental aspect of it, he just is not there on a consistent basis. Yeah,
Paul, speaking of your former teammate, Kevin Garnett, there are nights I watch AD and I think he's even more gifted than KG because he can do things. When he decides he can stroke the three, not that KG couldn't when he decided, but my point is he is so supremely gifted. He had stretches last year, like 10-game stretches. He was the best player in the league.
Right.
Okay? Then why doesn't your motor keep running hot? I don't know. He comes and he goes, he drifts and he's back. And
I wonder if it's psychological. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to any of the questions that I'm asking you or anything that Skip is saying or even yourself. It just, we gave him, and I don't like to make things about money because I'm not counting somebody else's money. I really don't care. But when you look at it last night, And I realized they paid him $186 million, but that same contract was just given to Giannis. Yeah. And then I'm looking and I'm saying, Giannis, AD, how could they look at that and say, well, it's the same guy? Because if it's the same guy, that's the same guy get the same money. So if you thinking AD is a Giannis, you pay him that way. But he's not there yet, and I don't understand inconsistencies on it. Like, I would personally get tired of Skip Bayless and Paul Pierce every other night talking about my play in a game. I would have to figure that out. I really would. People making jokes about him, you know, whatever you call it.
Always disappointed.
Yeah, always disappointed. Like, I would get tired of that.
One guy wants to, like, when you compare these two, you say they have the same ability. One guy wants to rip your heart out. The other one wants to surgically remove it. I mean, there's a difference.
Which guys? Which guys?
Oh, AD wants to surgically remove your heart, and Giannis is going to rip your heart out.
To rip your heart out.
Well, I want the dude that's going to rip the heart out.
Exactly.
I need to get it over with.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so back to LeBron. On a minutes restriction, Paul, are you good with this? He played 29 last night, and obviously if you make the case he would have played 35 or 37 or 39, you would have
probably wouldn't have won, though.
You probably wouldn't have won, but you would have had a better chance given the way he was playing versus the way his co-star was playing.
I think on a game like this, you give LeBron more minutes. And then you scale back, you know, probably the next game.
You could argue.
This is a statement game. We all know this. And I know, it's the first game of the regular season. Yeah, it's Denver. But listen, when they talk about who's your daddy and shots are thrown back and forth, you want to come out and make that statement the first game and let them know, listen, we're better, we're reloaded as a Lakers squad, and we're going to give LeBron these extra minutes because you're going to do that in the playoffs. There's just certain games, Skip and Keyshawn, during the season that you circle these games and say, all right, I'm going to play more minutes this game. I'm going to go out a little bit more, and I'm going to give LeBron these minutes on these type of games. And those are far from few. But this was one of those games last night. So we were saying, all right, I probably have to play LeBron 40 minutes tonight. Make a statement. Let's try to get this win, and then scale him back, you know, in game 2 and 3 down the road.
Well, LeBron's post presser, he certainly alluded to the fact that he only played 29 minutes. Yeah. He actually let us know that it was only 29 minutes and he had played pretty well.
He was clearly not
thrilled,
completely happy with it. Yeah, right. Yeah, but again, he said that was the plan going in, so he accepted
the plan. Yeah, because the plan going in, though, Skip, as you know, we expecting the dude that's my sidekick to raise the bar in the second half, especially after going for 17 in the first half. Just give us that same 17.
Yeah, I got it. By the way, remember, LeBron's trainer was in on scaling back minutes, so he had lots of input. His whole team had input, and clearly they just want this time to hope and pray that they can get him through and get him reasonably healthy and energized for the postseason run. So it's a good plan, but I'm with Paul. That was a statement game, and Denver once again made the same old statement of, we own you.
Yeah, but we were anticipating Anthony Davis to step up when this plan was put in place.
Right.
Yeah.
Had they known that Anthony Davis was going to be Anthony Davis the way he played in the second half, I'm sure that they would have increased LeBron's minutes. They could have probably increased them in the second half to the nth degree, but at the same time, your other guy was the one who's supposed to be giving us what we're looking for, and it didn't come to fruition.
Okay, but I don't think Darvin Ham had the mandate, had the approval from above to suddenly increase minutes on the clock.
Exactly. But what I'm saying, though, Skip, had they known going into the game, there was no way of knowing that Anthony Davis was going to play that way. So you increase his minutes. You could have increased Austin Reeves' minutes, too, a little bit. I mean, you could have increased his. I think he only played about 29 minutes or so.
Did he?
But on the flip side, Key, you got to say something about what's going on the Lakers sideline, too, because I think they need to do a better job at getting him the ball. When those shots that he's missed in the second half, that was him trying to create his own shots. I didn't see a set to where they tried to force feed him the ball, to force him to be aggressive also. So, you know, it's a little bit of AD.
But does he want to play with his back to the basket?
But it's a lot of them putting him in position to be aggressive also.
But does he want to play with his back to the basket, though? Like, when you're saying to me, help me understand when you saying sets, you want him not to
No,
have
it don't have to be back to the basket. They can get him to something to where he has it at the high post, similar to what Joker does, to where he can isolate there and use his quickness against Joker. But look, he's catching and shooting at the three-point line. He's set up out on the perimeter. You know, let's get him closer to the basket to where he can take one or two dribbles and be at the rim. You know, let's give him more opportunities like that. So it's not all on KD. Yeah, he has the ability to go out there and change the game. He has to do better on the offensive rebounds. Maybe he can control that way or get fouled and get to the line 10 times. But the Lakers also have to put him in position to be effective also.
Okay. But remember, Darvin just pounded on AD all preseason long to shoot more threes. At one point, he said, I want him shooting 6 a game. And then he walked that back saying, well, I'm just throwing out a number just to show you we want more. But he said, I would like to see him attempt 3 and 3.5 in the second half. Well, to your point, that works if he's working in the paint also, where you're going to have play complementary.
That's what I'm saying. I want him to get his big ass down in the paint.
Yeah.
I understand the game of the NBA. I understand the game of the NBA has changed, and everybody wants to be out there and be Paul Pierce and the little guys. I get it. Man, you 7 feet tall, man. Get down here.
The one point is, I don't think he's 7 feet tall. I think he's more 6'10"-ish. I think he's a couple
inches shorter. His wingspan takes him above 7 feet.
He does.
And he's long.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, though, Skip.
But remember, when he was a senior in high school, he was a guard.
That was
suddenly had
that
this
was
huge
13 years
spurt.
ago.
I got it, but his mentality is more. I'm a dribbler, and I'm a perimeter player. That's he grew up.
Okay, so get on the blocks and turn around and face a dude up and go to the cup and give a couple pump fakes and get a foul. Yeah. That's not that hard. Okay. I haven't played basketball in 100 years, but I know that.
So, Keyshawn, are you giving up on the Lakers you picked?
No, I'm never going to give up on them.
Okay.
I'm just going to, ride with them till I can't no more. Let's just put it that way.
So are you completely
I'm good. It's one
deflated
game.
by what you saw?
I'm deflated about AD, man.
Yeah.
Because when you tell me something, and what he's been telling me all offseason and throughout the preseason is I'm ready. I'm ready to arrive. I'm not going to Denver and laying an egg. That's what he was telling me.
He was.
But then when I got there and I looked at it, first half, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, you completely disappear.
Yeah.
You break my spirits.
You do, because
you make me mad.
Yeah. He basically told you before this game, we're going to go in there and shut them up.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happened.
You set me up for failure. I don't like to be set up for failure.
All right. Well, I'm going to predict that you will come in here every other day that we talk about the Lakers, and you'll be out of your mind happy about AD because he'll look like always dominating. He does. He just mixes your emotions. He's going to jerk you back and forth from night to night, morning to morning. Want to bet?
Yeah, we got a plan in this store, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We let it ride a couple more years. I know Giannis signed that extension, but, that doesn't mean anything in the NBA.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.